Okay, we have built our content and the sidebar, so let's get started with the footer. So if we can scroll down here, you can see that we have this footer option, and this is what we need to style. Let's get back to our code and let's navigate to our footer. This is our footer. I'm going to give a class here. I'm going to call this as main footer. Let me save that. Let's copy this line and then let's go to CSS and let's add it. I'm going to say that the background color is going to be black. Let me save that. If I get back to browser, hit refresh, okay, we have it, but we don't see most of our content. So what we can do is we can specify that the color is in white color. Save that. Let's get back to the browser, refresh. Okay, that's looking good. Now the thing is I need to specify the width and the padding for my footer. So what we'll do is we're gonna specify that the width is 950 pixels. That's because I'm using padding as 25 pixels. So basically if I directly say padding as 25 pixel, it will be added all the four sides, and that is how we can do the calculation. So let me show you how the thing works. If I get back to the browser and hit refresh, see, this thing doesn't come out. So if I select my footer here, so the exact size now, the width is 1000 pixels, but here it shows 950. See what happens if I change it to 1000 pixels over here. So it came outside. That's because I've added the padding here. So you can go to this padding, you can see we have padding on all the four sides, including the left and the right side. So now what I have done is I set it to 950 pixels. So 25 on the left and 25 on the right will add it to 50, and we have 950 plus 50 as 1000. Okay, after this we have this div tag which we need to float them beside each other. So let's get back here, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a class. I'm going to do the multi-line editing here. I'm going to choose this. You can do this by holding the alt key. Select this. I'm going to call this with a class. I'll call this footer box. Okay, so let's select the footer box which I have here. Then okay, so we need to do a little bit of calculation. So we have 950. So let's open up our calculator. Okay, the width what we have is 950, and we want to divide that by 4. So we have 237.5 pixel is what we require for each and every box. So I'm going to set this with a width of 237.5 pixels. Height is going to be auto, and it's going to float to the left side. So if I get back to the browser and if I refresh, okay, so this is happening. Now this is happening because the items are now floating, and we need to clear fix this. So let's get back to our HTML and then look for the clear fix. I'm going to copy this one, and after the footer ends, so let me get back here. Okay, right after this I'm going to paste this. Get back to the browser, now hit refresh. Okay, that is looking okay. Now we need to change some of the font styles over here. Let me get back to the code, and what we can do here is we can specify that the font size, font family, we can specify that the font family is sans serif. And if I get back to the browser and hit refresh, okay, we have that one. Now we have to change and work on this thing. Let's get back to the code. Inside the footer box we have the UL. So what we're going to do now is we have already written some code just like this. I'm going to take that code, so that's over here. So I'm going to take these items, copy that, get back to my code and paste it. So now if I refresh, that's going to get rid of all the bullets there. So now I need to style these items. What we'll do is we're going to take this one now, and inside this we have an ELI, and then we have an anchor tag. I'm going to call this as display block with the font size as small, margin bottom I'm going to give it as 5 pixels. Let's save that. I'm going to change the color to white color. Okay, let's see how that looks like. Great, now all I have to do is remove this underline. So I'm going to get back to my code. Let's say text decoration is none. Save that. Let's hit refresh. Okay, that looks good, but things have not changed much over here. So let me get back to this one. And what we're going to be doing now is inside the address, I'm going to add a h3. I'm going to call this as company name. Let me save this. Let's check how that looks like. Okay, we got the company name. We need to change these items now. So what we'll do is we're going to give a ph symbol over there. Okay, what we'll do is we'll get this outside over here. Yeah, I want to give this one as email. Okay, so we have got almost of the things, and now we have to change this one. So what we have to do is we have to take this footer box, and inside the footer box we have the address tag, and inside that we have anchors. I'm going to change the color of that to teal color. I'm going to change the font size as small. Let's save that. Let's see how that looks like if I hit refresh. Okay, that is looking okay, and now I need to change the color of that one. So I'm going to change this, but I don't think this changed. So what happened here is that we have this one, you have the address, you have the footer, and then you have the anchor tag. Okay, so I need to get rid of these items because they are not directly inside, they are kind of nested inside. I'm going to save this one. Let's hit refresh now. Okay, that changed. I can change the address tags item also, so I'm going to change it to font size as small. Save that and get back and hit refresh. Okay, that is looking good, and I don't want the h3 to change. So what we'll do is inside this one I'm gonna set it to 4p, so only the paragraphs will be changed. Okay, that is looking good. And now that I have got this one, the only thing now left us to work with is the copyright section. So if I inspect this, you can see that it's a paragraph tag, it has some margin, and based on that everything's been added. So what we can do is we can get back here. I'm going to add a class for this. I'll call this as copy. Now select that copy name and then paste it here. I'll say that the font size is small. It's actually already small, so I'm just going to say that the font family is sans serif. Let's see how that looks like. So if I get back and refresh, okay, that is fine. And what we'll do is we'll specify a padding of 25 pixels. That's going to give some spacing over here, and I want that to align to the center. So text align center. Let's save that, hit refresh. Okay, it's in center. I want to change the background color now. So you can set the background color to crimson color. I change the font color to white. Save that. Now if I get back here and refresh, okay, we have it. But you see there's a lot of spacing going on. So what we can do is inside that copy we have a P, and for that P I'm gonna set the margin as 0 pixel. That should fix it. So if I hit refresh, great, that did fix it. So now you can see our complete website, or I could say web page, is ready.